Leyrer and MacLemon will be talking about Windows and Windows and Windows.
Yeah. So this is a talk all about how your shell got flipped, turned upside down. So let us take a minute and sit right there and tell you how Tmux became your terminal multiplexer.
So the MC on my left, your right is MacLemon.
And to my right, to your left is Leyrer.
If you're sitting over there and you want to see us, move over here.
It's not that this will improve your experience, but yeah, the cheap place is over there. Yeah, we'll be sitting during the talk because we're just lazy, and all the relevant stuff will be on the projector for you to see anyway, so you're not missing anything. We'll start with a quick show of hands, except those hands we can't see over there. Who of you has been using Screen for some time already? Okay. There's a choice for everyone, so each of you has to raise their hand at some point. Who has been using Tmux already? Oh, okay. Okay.
Correct us if we are wrong.
Who has been using neither of those? Okay. Who's already falling asleep? Okay. Well, great.
We will change that.
Yeah. So what is a terminal multiplexer? It's a piece of software that lets you have multiple terminals inside one terminal. And
inside one terminal.
Yeah. Of course, you can do that already with your GUI terminal emulator application. You maybe already use tabs in there to have multiple terminals or multiple windows. But there's a bunch of benefits you get with using Tmux or Screen, if you so desire. You can keep your hands softly rested on the keyboard for your comfort, of course. And if you're adventurous, you can even integrate a pointing device into your terminal, like a rodent, mouse, something like that. And we'll discover a bunch of interesting use cases, why you should use Tmux. And of course, if you want to use that, you should use Tmux all the time, because you'll get the most benefits if it's there and waiting for you with every terminal you use. And you hardly get all the fun of the magic unless it's there all the time. So if you're not using a multiplexer yet, you're doing it wrong.
And if you see a mouse pointer on the big screens, that's not mine, that's his.
Yeah, if you're already using Screen and are interested in switching to Tmux, there's just two things you can't do with Tmux that you can do with Screen. One thing is getting a serial terminal,
which is handy for Raspberry Pi communication.
Yep. And the other thing is you don't get a woof woof in Tmux.
But we're working on that.
Yeah, if you don't know what that means, don't worry. That's for Screen users only. Yeah, but somebody might write the Tmux plugin for woof woof, so yeah, don't lose anything. Just be aware, Screen does exist. It's old. The last update of Screen is probably older than the whole Tmux project. So how do you get Tmux on your system? It's unlikely that it comes pre-installed. I don't know of any OS that comes pre-installed with Tmux yet. But there's packages for pretty much every Linux and BSD that you can think of. The only system where there's no Tmux packages is the ones that we'll be using to demo. And you'll see that in a minute. And you also want a pretty recent version of Tmux, like 2.1 and upwards. 2.3 or something is the current version. So, yeah, Tmux architecture.
I have to talk.
Oh, yeah.
So in comparison, can you hear me? No, I think. There's an on switch.
Have you tried turning it on?
Yeah. So In comparison to Screen, Tmux has a nice nifty feature, which is architecture, basically, which is a client-server architecture. So you can have one or more Tmux servers, and one or several clients can connect to one of these servers. So you can have shared Tmux sessions. Sorry. You can have shared sessions between several users, which is quite handy for education or pair programming and stuff like that.
Or giving a talk about Tmux.
For example, yeah,
we use a shared session for that.
So, as I said before, as Pepe already said, you can have a screen within a screen within a screen. So with Tmux, you can have one server with multiple shells inside one session. So you got inside one Tmux server can have multiple sessions, which can contain multiple windows, which can contain multiple panes.
We'll get to that and what that all means, because it doesn't make any sense at this moment, but that's what we want to fix.
Yeah, so we basically start off with multiple windows, which is rather easy to understand. It's similar to what you know from the browser. From your browser, you usually have several tabs open in one browser, so that's the analogy we're working here with.
Or several hundred tabs.
Talk for yourself. So the only thing that, at least for the beginner, that sometimes appears to be broken is the scroll back within one shell screen or one shell session, that you can't scroll back in the shell because Tmux takes over your terminal and handles the history as well. So if you just do a page up or scroll mouse up, you don't get the history anymore. But that's fixable, and we will talk about that a little bit later on.
Yeah, and you actually might like that for some reason.
Yeah. So, config?
Yeah, of course, like most terminal tools, Tmux can use a config file. It's called .tmux.conf in your home directory. And you can put in a gazillion of options. We won't go into many details on how to do these things. Just keep in mind you can configure pretty much everything you can imagine, from colors to everything and key bindings. So you can set up Tmux to your liking and customize it for every need you have.
One of the most used settings is that you can bind the navigation to the VI or Vim bindings. So if you're used to VI, you can use the same keystrokes to navigate around and do stuff. So that's rather handy if you're a VI user. Any Emacs users in the house? Raise all three hands, please. All right. So you're out of luck. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we sacrificed to the demo gods, so the rest of the talk will be pretty much a live demo of using Tmux and us embarrassing ourselves. We have prepared a special VM for this case. It's a rather uncommon, unknown, no, it's quite a well-known but uncommonly used type of Linux. Yeah. This is also why we don't have Tmux packages. This is the famously known Hannah Montana Linux. It exists. It's got a convenient color theme. It's quite consistent, and we try to make our Tmux stuff fit into it. So we'll just open a terminal and yeah. Look at a hot pink cursor.
Softly blinking away. So for this machine, Pepe had me to hand compile Tmux into Hannah Montana Linux. Don't ask how long this took.
Yeah, it's based on Debian Edge. If you still know that version, it was Debian 4. So, yeah.
So let's start Tmux. So this is basically just not doing anything in my window. This is not good. Nein, die haben wir nicht resettet.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Just bear with us for a moment. We did not sacrifice enough beers to the demo gods, it seems. We'll handle that this evening. Yeah.
A lot better.
Yeah, we're good.
So, this is what I just did is the last part of the talk. Relax, you don't want to know this at this moment. So, to start Tmux, you just type Tmux into your shell, and nothing much happens.
Except you get a status bar, which the screen users may already have customized to their use. Tmux comes with a status bar out of the box. We've moved it to the top so you can easily see it. If it's at the bottom, you might have some person obstructing your view. And what you see is on the top left corner, there's angle bracket, square brackets with the 0. That's your session. A session is just a bunch of windows grouped together. And we're in window number 0, which contains a process named bash. So that's just your shell and a status bar. And to the right, there's a host name and a date and time. You can configure all that, but that's not important at this moment.
Yeah, so that's not much to see. That's not really that interesting. What you can do, because as I said before, you can have multiple sessions and multiple servers. What you basically want to do is you want to name your session. So you can just do a tmux new, which will start a new session, and with the small s option, you can name your session. So if we do this at the moment, instead of saying this is session 0, it now says session BalCCon in the top left corner of the screen of the window, which is nice. So we can now work on anything we want to do. So let's start HTOP, for example, and it will give us nice, colorful info on what this machine is actually doing at the moment. If you're a screen user, you probably know what comes next here is, of course, we can detach from this session. So we can actually leave this session running in the background, disconnect from the server, or if you're on the train and go through a tunnel, you lose your session, the application still goes on, which is rather handy if you're running an install or a long-running job or RRC chat or something like this.
Yeah, doing a remote dist upgrade or something that takes a little time.
With Tmux, you basically have two options on how to do this. One is, of course, the keyboard shortcuts. You can map every function, every control, everything you can do onto a key sequence. The other thing is you have a command line for Tmux where you can enter all the commands manually, so you can type it out. In our demos, as we can't show you the keystrokes, we will probably spend most of the time showing you the command line and typing out the commands, which is rather cumbersome if you watch it. But during normal work, you just use the shortcuts, and it's a lot faster. So detaching.
Detaching, yeah. So that Tmux knows that a keystroke is for Tmux. It uses something called the prefix.
Yes, the prefix.
The default prefix key binding is Control B. Screen users are used to Control A. You can, of course, change that to your liking. We're using the rather strange Control Y. And
why?
Why? Because it's conveniently located on my keyboard. I'm using a German keyboard, and so the Y is in the lower left corner next to my Control key, and I can just smash my hand on the keyboard and have Tmux listen to me. But choose whatever you like. So when you
stick to one.
Yeah, when you hit the prefix, Tmux knows, okay, the next thing is for me, and you're controlling Tmux, and it does not handle the next keystrokes on to the application running in that shell within Tmux.
So one option to detach from the shell at the moment would be to just hit prefix D to detach, or I can do a prefix colon, which will get me the Tmux command line. You can see now in the top line of the screen. So now I can type detach, and if I'm not doing this, I've detached from my session, and Tmux tells me so, which is nice.
Yeah, of course, you can use prefix D, like you use Control D to exit a shell, so you already know that keystroke. and that's really comfy. And to show you that there's the HTOP process we started is still running.
Huh? Yeah, sure.
We'll just look it up in the process list, and there you see there's still our HTOP process in the background running. This could, of course, be a compiled job, an installer, something, whatever you like.
It should be something that runs in the command line and not needs X11 GUI or something like that, because you will lose that information, of course. So, as I said before, we can not only have one session, but 2 or more sessions. So, I'm creating another session. Now it's called Demo 01. Create the new session. Again, status bar shows me the name of the session, and now I'm getting into the area where it gets confusing, because now I have several sessions. I'll have to keep track of them. So what I can use is Tmux ls or session for no. I prepared that one. And it will list me all the sessions that are currently running on that machine. Of course, list session is too long, so Tmux ls also works as well. And of course, it also works on the command line. I can do a list session, and it will show me the sessions. The nice thing about this one is now I can move around with the cursor. If you take a look in the upper left corner, I can move around the cursor and can actually.
You can.
I think I can.
You should.
That I should, yeah, but I don't.
Okay.
Okay. I can detach from the session as well,
Yep.
and reattach to any other session. So in this case, let's switch to BalCCon, and I'm back in my BalCCon session with HTOP still running, and if I want to, I can now switch back to my Demo 1 environment by doing prefix colon and do a switch T Demo 1, and I'm back in my demo session with the with the ls still going. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's go back to my BalCCon session while Pepe entertains you.
Nice thing when listing sessions, you also get the character size of the terminal. Since we're both connected to the same terminal session here and Tmux session, our terminals do not have the same size on our screen. But that does not really matter. If you have used a user bin screen to share a session, that's rather inconvenient because it just cuts off and you don't know where one ends. So if your terminals are not aligned, that's inconvenient. Tmux takes care of all that and makes that really easy to handle if your terminals are different sizes, and you can always look it up like that.
Yeah. Okay. So back at BalCCon. So the next thing we want to do, let's quit HTOP here for a second. As I said before, we can have multiple sessions, but we can also have multiple windows within one window. Right now, we only have one window. It got the index number 0, and the title is bash because that's the application that's currently running in that window. What I can now do is create a new window, which is new window.
Of course, you wouldn't start typing that one because it would take ages. But now we have in the status bar, you see a window number 0 with a process called bash, and a window number 1 with another process called bash or HTOP. Tmux automatically renames your window to the process that is running inside it. And the one that is accepting your keyboard input also has an asterisk to show you where your keystrokes are going and which one you're controlling.
Yeah, so the shortcut, of course, is C as for create. As I said before, we are sticking with the command line, so you can actually see what we are doing. Another option you can do with new window is you can specify the session the window should be created in. So I could create another window either in the session BalCCon or in the session demo 01. We are using it right now. And with the option -D, I can also specify an application I automatically want to start in that window. So now we are getting something what a sysadmin can actually use. So if I do this, I should get a third window with the index number 2, because we're starting with 0, and it has already HTOP running. If I switch over to that window, we will come to window switching in a moment. We can see HTOP is running here. Of course, I can still do one more. If I'm doing this if I'm typing in the correct window, like this, I can not only define the specified application I want to run, but I can also actually name the window I'm creating. So in this case, I'm naming that window demo IO top, and I'm running IO top inside that window. And because I cannot only do this. Let's do it properly. I cannot only do this from the tmux command line, but also from my bash, from anywhere if I'm copying correctly.
Yeah. And this works because tmux is a client-server architecture. So if you run tmux within a tmux window, it will just connect to the server and tell the server to do the things for them.
So now I've created another window called demo IO top. It's got the number 3 because it's the 4th window. And if I switch over there, I can actually see IO top running. Yay!
Yeah. So over time, you aggregate a bunch of windows inside your tmux session, and maybe 25 of them will be named bash because there's a shell running doing something, or a vim. Of course, it's becoming inconvenient to have 27 windows called vim. I mean, not because of vim, but because it's not very helpful. So you probably want to switch between the windows and navigate between them. You can go back and forth quite easily. You can use the keyboard commands prefix N for next and prefix P for previous. So if you watch the status line where the asterisk is, as we switch and go back and forth between the windows, you see the asterisk moving to tell us where we ended up. And of course, you can switch even faster by addressing any window by its number. So if you want to switch to the window to the window number 3, you can type prefix 3 and it will directly go there. Since tmux has sane defaults, it starts it's 0-based indexing. Unfortunately, your keyboard is not 0 indexed because the numbers start with 1 and the 0 is on the right-hand side. You can actually tell tmux to start numbering at 1, so your keyboard matches the order in which your windows are aligned on screen, which is quite convenient.
So switching back to window number 1, to index number 1, which is window number 2. We can, of course, rename that window now to something different. So let's say I want to rename my window to W2 because it's window number 2. And now it's called Windows number 2, although I'm still running bash inside that window. So that works quite well as well.
So this will get you around having a bunch of like-named windows that you can't distinguish easily. Also, if you're running like an install process, which switches happily back and forth between compile, make, GCC, and your window name will constantly change. And if it's running multiple processes with different length names, it will start wobbling around, which is rather inconvenient. So you just name it, well, compile job something, and it will stay that way. So this is where renaming a window to a fixed name comes in.
So the last thing we want to show you with Windows is something rather interesting. For this, I will detach from the current session. So detach. You can now see there is no Tmux status bar on the top, so we've dropped down from the session. And what I can do, as we have a client-server architecture, I can communicate with the server and tell it different commands. One of those commands is send keys. So I can actually send any key I want to any session, any window I choose to do. So in this case, I'm sending keys to my session called BalCCon, and with the number 2, I'm addressing the third window. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's do this in the second window. Because I prepared it like this. Yep. And what I'm sending is echo hello BalCCon to that window. So nothing really happened at this moment, at least we can't see it. So let's attach to the BalCCon session again. And as we are already in the second window, which has the index number 1, there is the string I sent to that window. So I'll leave it as an exercise to you to imagine what you could do with such a thing.
Yeah, with letting your Tmux type remote commands into a server that you can't see. What could possibly go wrong? Like addressing the wrong window, maybe on the wrong server, on the wrong machine.
And not using echo, but some other command.
Reboot. Yeah, there's lots of fun to be had with remote typing in windows you can't see.
So what I also mentioned was that we can not only have windows, but we can also have panes. So a pane is a part of a window. So I can actually split my windows apart. This sounds more aggressive than it actually is. You can do, as we're in a terminal, you can only do horizontal and vertical splits, not diagonal. That's not possible at the moment. The thing is, with the vertical and the horizontal split, they work in mysterious ways.
Yeah, they're not the easiest way to remember those.
Let's see if you can spot the issue here. So for a vertical split, I can do a prefix
double quote.
The prefix double quote. I will do this. This is a horizontal split.
No, this is a vertical split. This is what Tmux calls a vertical split.
A vertical split. Yeah. Sorry.
Would you agree this is a vertical split? Yeah. So we can already see the issue. We do not really agree if this is a vertical or a horizontal split. Can you demo as a horizontal split?
Of course.
With the conveniently mapped default shortcut of prefix %, which has a diagonal line in it. So what is it? Yeah.
So we now get a second pane on the right-hand side. So we have a horizontal split.
So what I like to do to fix my brain to match things going on in my terminal is to remap those default key bindings. And we have convenient characters that match the lines that break up your panes. So we have the pipe symbol you use for plumbing in your shell. And I use that to get a vertical line, even if Tmux considers that a horizontal split, because the panes are split horizontally against each other. And I use the minus, which is a horizontal line, to get what Tmux considers a vertical split. That still helps my brain to get what I need.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't care what it's called. I want this line and I want this line. So this is why we remap key bindings in Tmux to get the same thing working.
Right. So of course this not only works through the shortcuts which basically divide the current pane or the current window in half. This also works of course through the command line. And through the command line I have a few options I can additionally add. So with a split window is basically my command. Through a -v or -h, I can specify vertical or horizontal split. You can't remap those things. And with the option -l, I can actually define the number of lines for a vertical split. So in this case, I'll split this window vertically from the view of Tmux with 5 lines. And this, if I'm doing this in the right window, so you can see at the bottom you got the 5-line pane, and on the top you got the larger pane containing all the other lines inside that window.
Yeah.
Of course, this navigate. Give me a second.
Okay.
So the same of course goes for the horizontal split. For the horizontal split, the option is -P for columns.
Of course, yeah.
And again, we have the split. Hooray!
Yeah. Why would you want to unevenly split your panes in a window? That's quite convenient to have like a development setup where you have a large pane where your editor for your code is. On the bottom, you see, for example, your test system that shows you if your tests work. And on the right-hand side, you might have some system log output or a few lines with status or your chat client or something. So you can just set up a thing that always looks the same and gives you your setup as you like it.
Of course, you can move between those panes. This is you can map it to any keys you want. One of the options would be to use prefix O, and this will, if I'm doing this in the right window, sorry for that, which will switch through the different panes. As you can see, the cursor wanders from one pane to the other.
So always just rotate, so it goes around in a circle between all existing panes. You can directly hop from one to another, which is done by using prefix and the arrow key in the direction you want to hop. So if you press prefix and the right arrow, it will hop to the next most right pane that is available. And the same goes for like hopping to the bottom and hopping up.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for your command because
I can remote control Tmux via Martin. So that's pretty easy to remember.
Another way to move around in the panes is by directly addressing the pane. There's a convenient function that is usually mapped to prefix Q, and with prefix Q we will get the numbering of the panes. So we start again with 0, 1, and 2, and this will also, let's do this again, will also show you, if you look at the top right corner of each pane, it will show you the resolution of that pane. Resolution in characters.
Resolution in characters.
Because we grew up in resolutions given in characters, not in pixels or megapixels or 4K. And you can actually address, you can see the red number 1. This is the current pane we are focusing on. I haven't done that. We should have set the timer higher.
Longer, yeah.
And with pressing 2, I can now switch over to the second pane. If I do this again, I can do a 0, and I'm in the top left pane, and so on. Q2, and then back in the bottom pane. So a rather easy moving around and giving the pane, especially if you have more than 2 or 3 panes. This is rather a convenient feature. Don't try to do more than 9 panes in one window. You will. Yeah. This is more pain than pain. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, another thing you can do is you can resize your pane. So I'm now in the bottom pane with the 5 lines, and I decide, oh, this is an interesting log. This is an interesting log. I want to see more of that log. I want to see more lines. I can just do a prefix, prefix Alt and cursor up.
Prefix option.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ah.
Okay, sorry.
Ja, mach mal.
Yeah. So
thanks.
When you press prefix and then Option or Alt, depending on your keyboard, and you use the arrow keys, you can just start moving around that line to wherever you want it to be. Of course, this works horizontally as well, so you can just on the fly resize it if you decide, okay, I'll need a few more lines, because HTOP is just not very fun in 4 lines.
Another thing is, as I described before, you see something interesting, you want to see more details, or as I've done right now, I've started HTOP at the bottom, and I can't really see the processes. So a quick way to do this is the so-called pane zoom. So I can just tell Tmux, zoom into that pane and show me the full details of that pane. So through prefix Z or Z, as the Americans say.
Yeah. Z for zoom.
It zooms into that pane, shows me that pane, and
this does actually not resize your panes in any way. It just zooms into that one and gives you that one pane in full screen. If you look at the status bar at the top, in the window number 0, where we have a process called htop, there's the asterisk to show you this one is accepting your keyboard input, and there's a Z, which tells you this one's zoomed in at the moment. And with prefix Z, you can toggle the zoom in and out again. So if you zoom out again, the Z in the status bar will go away and will just pop back to where it was without affecting the layout you have meticulously prepared to your liking.
Exactly. Another thing you sometimes want to do is you have your tail running or your htop or whatever, and you suddenly realize it's not a good idea to have that in one pane. I actually want that in a separate window. I want to break out that pane. So there's also a command for that, conveniently called break pane. So with break pane, I'll get a new window, window number 4 in our case, running htop, and if I switch back to window number 1, window number 0, the pane I've had here is now gone because it went to window number 4.
This is also convenient to when you realize, oh, I should have started that process somewhere else, but it's already running for 5 minutes and I don't want to cancel it and start it again. You can just break it out into a window and see all of it without having to Control-C and start over.
Anybody got an idea on how we are on time?
It's 8:30. I have no idea. How long do we have? We can go on forever.
A couple of minutes? Fine. Okay, so we're actually on time, surprisingly.
Okay.
There's one thing that's quite handy. Let me just close this one here. There are, of course, a few tmux commands to help. No, I'll switch the script around. Sorry for that. There's another thing you can do, and as I said before, we have a client-server architecture, so you could actually prepare something like this. So you can actually have a small text file containing a few tmux commands, like create a new window, create a new pane, start the application in the pane, and what you can do is you can source that, and it will automatically create you the setup you want. So you can give this for example, at the beginning of tmux. So if you have your IDE set up, your logging environment, whatever, it's just a few keystrokes away, and you got your tmux set up the way you want. So rather easy, convenient way to configure tmux in a hurry.
So tmux is fully scriptable. Everything you can do interactively with keystrokes or the tmux command line. You can actually put into a script and have launch at system boot, for example. Many people use this to have their easy IRC client launch in a tmux session in a window in the background when the machine comes up, and they can just SSH into that machine, and IRC is already collecting logs and power idling for you because you're never there.
One thing is with tmux is you will get lost. You will get how many sessions do I have, what window is where, etc. So we have tmux info, which will give you info on all the sessions, all the settings, all the things you want to know about tmux and your tmux setup. The last thing, one more thing. Let me detach here. For this, I will also create a new session. The new session I will call sync pane, which will give you a clue on what we are going to do. I will create, if I hit the right key, Shift, German keyboard. I'll create 3 panes. In this one, I will change into /etc. And in this one, I will change into /opt. And now move to the first one. And what I can do now is call a command named synchronize panes. So what I can do is I can tell Tmux whatever I type in the first pane, also type in the other panes. So now we are deep into cloud and admin land. So let's start this, and I can now do the easy one, ls, and it will do the ls in all three panes, and I will see what happens there. Of course, this is not done on. This is done on all three panes, and it's not limited to ls. What you could do is SSH into another machine, and you can do an ls on a remote machine through Tmux.
Yeah. So each of these panes could be connected to a different server, and you could accidentally reboot not only one wrong server but the whole cluster. So this is easy to use as a cluster shell replacement, or I need to update 5 Debian boxes, and it's the same on all. So you just get a bunch of panes, SSH into each of them, and you can do the happy dist upgrade path easily with 5 boxes in a row.
Or the rm/
or whatever you like to do. Just don't get it wrong.
As we are almost on time, there's also another nice feature in Tmux called a big clock. So with prefix T for time, Tmux will show you the current time, which is we have already overdone our session. Sorry for that.
And of course, the time zone is incorrectly set on that VM. It's somewhere else.
US.
So the clock is not synchronized to our clock here.
Yeah, sorry for that. Another thing, the last thing I wanted to show you is I mentioned that the it's hier. Minus AL wäre gut gewesen. I mentioned that we can have several sessions. Each session listens on a specific port. This port I can actually socket, sorry, nicht port, socket. Each socket I can specify during creation, and I can specify rights to that. So I can give. This is what we have done here. We've created We've created a Tmux session within a Tmux session, and for the first Tmux session, I created this special socket and gave access to the group EH16, and so Peppy could actually join that session and type type while I'm typing. So. Yep. Rather convenient, especially so you can have free. We actually had 3 shell windows, one that we have seen, one of on his machine and one on my machine, and we were presenting and were able. If I were concentrating, I would be able to look at my screen and see what's happening on the big screen up there.
So you can use that to have multiple people administer the same server. You can get your Padawan sysadmin and show them some stuff, or you can do pair programming or learning, teaching, or giving a presentation you want to show in a terminal and share the same session. So each person can use their own keyboard and type together into the same thing on the projector. A benefit of Tmux over screen, of course, with screen you can actually do pretty much the same with sharing a session. With the downside, with screen you have to use the setuid root, which we all like, of course, to have binaries have setuid root. With Tmux, that is not necessary. You just create a socket, give it a user, give it a group, and you're all set.
With that, we have a few links. We will probably put up in the
we'll put that on the frap, so you can get those.
And with that, we come to the interesting part of questions. I don't know how we are on time. We have probably got one question, maybe 2. We'll deal with them. We are here until Sunday evening, so if you have any further questions, we will find that at the Levantville MetaLab assembly. Just drop by and
we'll help you.
Yeah. Okay, so he got the hand up for a long time.
The one single question.
Let's see.
Can you actually unsynchronize panes?
Unsynchronized.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Don't ask me now. Don't ask me at the moment.
Okay.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Over there. Quick one. Quick questions, please.
One last. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a quick one. Is Tmax your ultimate recommendation? Because there's another one, I think, multiplexer. There's Screen, there's Tmax, and there's another one, I cannot remember the name.
There's Biobo from the Ubuntu project.
I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yeah, there's multiple projects. I personally like Tmax a lot. It's BSD licensed. It's a very modern thing. The configuration is a lot easier than Screen.
Feature-wise, I think. Feature-wise.
Feature-wise, I don't know enough about the features of Biobo. Regarding Screen, it's there's not too much difference. Tmax is a lot faster in screen redrawing, especially over slow connections, which is quite handy when you're on like tethering on the phone or just have a slow connection.
Tmax is actively developed. There's actually since spring there were 2 releases. They're improving on the UTF-8 support and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on. You got the plugin projects.
So Tmax it is. Tmax,
Yeah, if you haven't used anything, I'd recommend you start with Tmax. Keep in mind there is Screen, so if you occasionally step across the very old Solaris box somewhere, you might only get Screen to run there, which will still help you.
Okay, thanks.
Go Tmax.
Okay. Well,
Done.
yeah. You will probably find us. One more?
Yeah, the last one. Okay.
Last one. Okay.
We have a configuration that runs on when we start Tmax. Like multi-windows or something like that.
Yeah. Yes, you
Okay.
can have that.
Okay, thank you.
That's the script thing we showed.
Yeah.
You can run Tmax with the script to set all that up, and you have the .tmax.conf file in your home directory to configure all the key bindings and colors.
Yeah, of course.
It does not have to be pink. There's more choices.
Just give it. Just start Tmax with -C and the script, and it will execute all the settings you want.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.